The world of X may not be getting our message,
Hmm.
but it's everywhere else. What's going on, people? Welcome to Thursday Live, Owner's Pride podcast with Damon Gray, the founder of Owner's Pride, and Dan Williams, the host of Owner's Pride podcast, one of the minority partners here at Owner's Pride. Oh my goodness. So good to see you today. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. And how are you doing on your special day?
Man, I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. I definitely a surprise every time that this happens. You turn another year. Now I'm on the backside of my 50s. It kind of blows me away, to be quite
Hmm.
honest. I'm very much realistic. It beats the alternative, that's for sure. Um,
Right.
and then for the last 14 years, my pops passed away like 2 days before my birthday. So every year around this time, it kind of puts me in this like little really introspective thing, like with
Hmm.
ending and beginnings. And but man, I'm in a pretty cool place, man. Life is really good. I'm I really got no real complaints.
I think what's really, but like when I talk to some of our installers, or honestly, even with my own kids too, it's like who you were in your 20s is completely different than who you are in your 30s to who you become in your 40s and who you are in your 50s.
Yeah.
And it's like every decade things change and reset, and then you don't feel like you're really caught up and accomplished it until you get to the back end of that decade. So no, it definitely, there's something about it, especially if you're an entrepreneur or you're in business, because the business constantly evolves. You have to evolve with it, you know. And that'll keep you young, right there.
Yeah. I would say if there was an observation, well, there's two observations. One, when I was in high school, I wore size 28, 30 length pants. In my 20s, I went up to size 30. In my 30s, I was size 32. I've been holding on the size 32 here for a good while. And I really, really, really do not want to go any higher than that. But funny how that number just has crept up every year, even when you're moving around and stuff. It's kind of crazy. That's one observation of just, the time passage that I noticed. Number two, I think in this 50s, and maybe it's because of, working with you and doing everything that we're doing. There's just a more of a confidence that is kind of set in. Like there maybe less worry about what other people think or something similar to that. And I know I've really have found in what we're doing here at Owner's Pride and working with all of these detailers and helping them grow their business really seems to be what I've found my purpose. So maybe that all kind of culminates to be with just more confidence and just an easier feeling, less worry about the small stuff, I guess.
So I think, the older you get, the more confident you should be in who you are and what you've accomplished and what you've done. And sometimes you don't even realize you accomplished anything until you've had that aha moment. You begin to look back, and you see just how far in certain ways that you've come too. So, yeah, I mean, I get it, you know. I gotta say though, in my 50s, I have a whole lot less of hold my beer moments than I did in my 20s, 30s, or 40s
Yeah.
so
You
far.
you definitely y- take a little bit less risk in that way, but also you take a little bit less
All
crap
right.
from people. Like I have less time for nonsense, There's it's it's too short. And I don't know, I may have mentioned this before, but when I went to see my doctor and and everybody, this isn't just going to be about Dan Williams' philosophy of life here, but we're going to talk about interior coatings, bundles, and why it's so important. That's coming. But when I went to my doctor the last time, he said to me, he's like, "You're getting ready to be 56. Men in the United States, on average, live to about 78 years old. So, kind of think of it as you've got about 20 years left. You got about 20 more summers, 20 more Christmases, 20 more birthdays, 20 more Fourth of Julys. What do you want to do with those 20 holidays? Like it's kind of that window's shrinking." And that really really got me thinking, and that he's right. And so more of a focus on trying to live a good life and just be happy. I think that's
See,
about
that
it.
would've just totally depressed me and bummed me out.
I
If my doctor I'm thank God my doctor hasn't said that to me yet.
I very much over the past like say year have really dove into stoic philosophy. And I like literally when I wake up every day now, I have Marcus Aurelius' book of meditations, and I'll read
Mhm.
it for 10 minutes every day, and it kinda sorta centers me and grounds me. What really blows me away is how something all of this stuff written by these Greek and Roman philosophers a couple thousand years ago is so incredibly applicable to everything that's going on today, like, in your life and in your world, and, it's just a really I think that's one of the things that's really helped me become calmer and more confident.
I mean, like the Bible says, there's nothing new underneath the sun. It's amazing to think that, you are talking about thousands and thousands of years ago, but yet life was still very similar today. You got up when it was, when the sun came up, you worked, you had responsibilities, obligations to your community, and that hasn't really changed. So yeah, I mean, in fact, back then, I mean, you look at it, the lifespans are much shorter, and I think things are taken a lot more serious. Whereas we don't take things serious until we get into our 30s and 40s. These guys are taking things serious much younger than we were.
Yeah. And then for anybody who feels like they're getting the short end of the stick in life or something right now, I mean, if you go back a couple thousand years ago, they were throwing people into rings with lions and making them fight to the death. Like we are very spoiled and babied at this time period in the world. So if you
I don't
think
know
you
what you're
got it
talking about.
rough,
I would have been detailing gladiator chariots. I don't know about you, but that's probably what I would have been doing. I would have, you know what I mean? Somebody has to do it.
I
Somebody would have
like
had to
it.
have done it. There had to be somebody then that was detailing out chariots.
Well, if
Had to be.
now if we were gonna change it to that, we would have to change our warranty to cover, like, animal feces and human blood.
Oh, stop. Oh.
Some of the main, drivers that were happening to those chariots in those rings.
Mhm.
Oh my goodness, oh my goodness.
That
Alright,
digressed. All right.
alright, let's get into this. So today's topic, y'all, is the importance of interior protection. And I wanna start out. So I've
Mhm.
been as a rep for a company and working on this side, not only from seeing this through the lens of when I had my detailing business and what I sold. And I was guilty of this as well, just like really everybody else in our world. We focus so hard on the exterior of the car and polishing the paint and selling the exterior ceramic coatings, which absolutely that's what you see when you walk up to the car. We love polishing the paint. Probably all of the detailers take more pride in that one aspect of the job than anything else. But we really are not serving our customer and not really serving our business by not also really pushing the interior warranty program that we have here at Owners Prime. So it covers things like if you spill something in there, coffee stains or spills and stains. If a wild boar gets in there and takes a leak, it's gonna be covered. Um, rips, burns, and tears, cracked dashboard. And these are all things that we know as we sit inside that car all the time and how dirty it can get in there, and especially if you have kids and it's hard to tell them, "No, you can't eat in the car." Not having any kids, I think that I would be very good at telling them that, but what I hear from people
Mhm.
who actually have kids is they're not very good at telling them that. So there's a lot of accidents and food and drink stuff. All of that is covered. And then even to the rips, burns, and tears. So it's such a value for the customer, and it's so incredible for you guys as a detailer that we're starting to put together a bundle package for everybody in the Owner's Pride network, so they can offer this at a little bit of a price break for them, and really kind of blow all of the competition out of the water because what we have for a warranty program is just absolutely untouchable.
when you're talking about interiors and children, I mean, having 3 kids, going through the kid hauler stage of SUV, minivan, back and forth until they were all gone and with all their friends. The reason why it's so hard to tell them no is because when they're eating, typically they're shutting up. And as a parent, your job is to get from point A to point B with those children with your sanity intact. And if that means some French fries on the floor, at that moment, you really don't care. Um, I mean, I didn't have interior protection, but when my kids would go ahead and act up and things were starting to get messy in there, what I did have was a bagpipe CD. And if they were like stuff was getting thrown, it was getting terrible. Guess what? Dad's put it in the bagpipe CD. Now I would enjoy it. They would absolutely hate it, and then I would humiliate them by going ahead and rolling down the windows and playing the bagpipe music also. Um, so I mean, there's a little defense for the family, wagon. But no, when we talk about the interior also of a vehicle and some of your customers actually spend more time in their car than they do sitting there and watching TV and relaxing at home. I mean, I know people who have 2-hour commutes both ways
Oh,
or longer. No, I mean we
yeah.
do. We all know people that are like that, and so they're inside their vehicle so much they actually see more of the interior than they do the exterior of their car. And having the interior taken care of or made easier to clean can really be benefit them more psychologically than having the exterior done because this is where they're at. If it's clean and it feels comfortable, or if it's clean, you're going to feel more comfortable in the vehicle. You're like, you can relax a little bit more in the leather. You can, put the seat back a little bit. And having a clean interior, and then having the option to say, hey, what we can do is we can apply an interior sealant for you. So it's easier to keep your vehicle clean. And you have any of these spills, you can get it wiped up. It's a lot easier to maintain. People who spend a lot of time inside their car, it's definitely, I think to them, it's appealing. But you have to have that option. You have to have that in your mindset when that vehicle comes in. Because you're right. I do think as detailers, we typically look at the outside of the paint, the outside of the vehicle itself, and how it looks, and not really thinking about the inside is really what the customer is going to see the most of, you know? And having these interior products that actually protect and seal, like I said, it can be a huge benefit. Just point the benefit out to them, and you have the ability to upsell them on the interior because you're providing a solution to a problem that they have.
And here's the kind of cool thing for the detailers who would sell this. If there's a rip,
Mhm.
burn, or tear or a cracked dashboard, which are all things that are covered under this program, you probably don't even have to fix that yourself. We have to find That's on us to find somebody else who does that kind of repair in your local market or wherever that customer may be in all 50 United States. So, like when you sell this, you know that we have your back in case anything ever goes wrong. Um, sometimes the guys aren't as hip to do maybe a bird poop stain will be on a fender or something, and they won't be as excited to do the repair job. But it's easy, and you can knock that out. But the point is, these ones that are on the interior, a lot of these things are not even something that you're going to have to deal with ever again. But we will deal with it, and we will 100% back up everything that's covered on our written express warranty.
Right. And when we're talking about rips and tears, we're not saying that the product is going to stop that. That I would never make that claim, and I really don't want that out there. It's the fact that, yeah, we believe in our product is going to go ahead and protect against stains, transfers, and those kind of things. But definitely not like a puncture or a rip or tear. But the warranty itself does. And again, I think a lot of guys are standoffish about it because it's something that they physically think that they can't do. If there was a repair that needed to be done on the outside, much more confident in, right? So they have no problem going ahead and putting the warranty out there and putting themselves out there. When you have the interior and it's something that they don't have control of, then I think there's a little bit more hesitancy to go ahead and offer that to the client. Um, Now, that being said, too, we also should say you don't necessarily have to buy the interior product to protect it with the warranty, that we do offer it with that.
Yeah.
And it's a great upsell for people.
Yeah. And you're right. I would think that okay. So when I'm telling the guys about this, when we're onboarding new people and we're talking about the warranties and stuff, and I always say, hey, is there anything that you're going to put onto that seat that's if you have a screwdriver sticking out of your pocket that's going to stop that from going through, or you're tooling down the road, smoking your whatever the heck you're smoking, tooling down the road. Probably shouldn't be smoking anything inside of a car; it makes it stinky. But the cherry falls off and burns a hole in the seat. Sometimes that kind of stuff happens. It's
Mhm,
covered. We like it packs so darn much value into what you're selling, and nobody else in our industry actually has this that comes from the manufacturer, like we have. So it builds value. It just builds a ton of value. And so for people out there, both detailers and if we have regular, civilians, I guess we'll
mhm.
call them, watching this, let us know in the comments if you have ever had an interior protection inside of your car. And for you guys who are the detailers, are you actively selling this? I mean, I guess I can look in our Shopify and know if you're actively selling it. But you tell me, are you like actively trying to push this? And anybody out there that's in our network, we're more than willing to work with you on fresh ideas of how to sell this to really to start to move the product and really build the value of what you're selling so nobody else can compete with what you have to offer.
Yeah, and I think too, we look at the technology of it too, of the product. It's not like it's just a simple Scotch Guard product. Right. I mean, it is designed to go ahead and bond, to the vinyl, to the leather, to the plastics, and especially even fibers wrap itself around the fibers rather than just sit on the very top of it, and then be scraped away over time. Um, but two, the product itself, when you put it onto like leathers, plastics, and vinyl, it doesn't have a greasy feel to it. It doesn't have the high gloss to it. It leaves the factory OEM finish, that was originally there. It doesn't have anything greasy about it. That's the other thing I like about the product. It's not like some of the stuff you find from dealerships that are very streaky, very just gross.
Yeah. I remember before we launched the company, when we flew all the guys out to kind of pick who our reps were going to be originally, and we did that exercise. And I think that what we came up with really fits in here. Owner's Pride Car Care products or Owner's Pride ceramics are like a safety net for your car's appearance. Spend less time washing and worrying and more time doing the things that you love. And really, you no longer have to worry about it. And who doesn't go through Starbucks, and
Mhm.
grab some coffee? We're all spilling stuff in there.
Right, and you think about it, we had the protectant, and then we also had the answer too, or had the answer having it lined up. I mean, I don't know about you, but and I'm sure you do this, but I have a bottle of Eco Wash that I've prepped and ready to use, and it's in my Jeep all the time. You know, just for something like that because I spill. There is there. Sometimes I feel like I'm wearing more of my lunch and my dinner than I'm actually eating. Um, so having that in there, but having the protectant on there too makes it so much easier just to wipe up and clean. So I mean, you're right. There's much less to worry about. And that was the whole idea, the safety net, but also empowering people to know that one, you have the protectant on there, but you also can have an answer for it right there.
Yeah. Funny that you mentioned that with the Eco Wash. Like, I really you guys see me talking about Eco Wash all the time. I really have hung my hat on the Eco Wash. When we go golfing, I have a spray bottle of diluted in my golf bag so I can clean my clubs along the way. And if that darn golf cart is too dirty, I take care of that too.
Okay, so you know how some carts have a ball washer and a club washer in there?
Mhm.
I used to have mine. Yeah, when I was in Avoca and I had a golf cart there. Mine had Eco Wash in there in the box.
Nice.
So it was
Nice.
ready ready to go.
Do you have You have a big golf cart now, right? And I'm sorry, I'm squirrel. I'm getting sidetracked.
Yeah, no, I do, but it's not like it's more to get to where we need. We're pretty much a one-car family anymore, and the golf cart gets us where else we need to go. I watch people take their kids to school on golf carts.
Man.
I mean, that there's cart path trails everywhere. It really does help with congestion on the road. Now, that being said, um, my seats have the protectant on it. So, and I think, by saying that too, and talking about, other utility vehicles, you can apply this on side by sides. You can apply this on the seats of your motorcycle or whatever. It's going to definitely help the whatever you're using. It's definitely going to help go ahead and shield it from UV rays, moisture, and those kind of things.
And this is where they can take the chemists who make these products can take the raw ceramic materials and put them into carriers and also have flex agents in there, which kind of we were talking about ceramic coatings on the outside last week predominantly
Hmm.
and the warranties. And and we talked about that 9H thing, right? Well, 9H when you
Hmm.
get that hardness, if an interior product was that, it wouldn't be able to flex and wrap around the carpet fibers and, like, down into the cracks, and then be able to move, with people sitting on it and their feet squishing down
Hmm.
on it and all that. So, they really have made these viable for the inside of an interior. But and over and over and over, we have so much confidence in what we're selling that we put a real compliant, true warranty behind it. And you're never going to have your customer, unless it's something that's not covered on there. And we pretty darn clear about even things that are not covered. But you're never going to have your customer try to make a warranty claim and and turn on them because that's just not how we do business. If it's something that's covered, we are going to take care of it.
And we should say that it is a repair, not necessarily a replace warranty,
Yep.
like what, you do see here and there, that they are repaired. If something is completely destroyed and had to be replaced, it's not going to be covered under the warranty. And but all that is also covered there in black and white too, in the postcard, so that your customer always knows what's covered and what's not covered. And also how to make the warranty claim and what number to call and everything is right there.
Yeah. And that's what makes it a real warranty. It even has the insurance company that we use to back our warranty. So if you're the detailer selling this product and you go out of business, your customer still has a warranty. They call the 1-800 number. If your customer moves to the middle of Montana and there's not an OP installer for 500 miles in any direction, they call that number. We're going to find somebody to fix it for them. And maybe we'll even find somebody to be an OP installer along the way as we do that, which would be dynamite. Anybody who's in that western part of the North, the Montana, South Dakota, Wyoming, all of those states, we need people there. It's very sparsely populated. Um, and what these products, right? So maybe people are thinking, well, I put s- b- dash guard or some kind of a cream onto my seats for protection. And those really, they don't have the staying power of the ceramic coatings like we have. Like these are made to lock on for a lot longer. And even if the hydrophobic aspect of it wears away, interestingly enough, the polymers that are on there, they stay behind to block stains from really locking in and scents from really locking in. And that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, between that and the other thing that I think is so impressive, and I didn't quite realize it until I got here in the South, is the amount of UV damage that you accrue on both coasts. And now living out here and seeing other vehicles out, everything's faded out to, from house paint to cars to plastic trim pieces and those kind of things. The seats are taking a beating also. And these kind of products, like exactly what you're saying, is going to provide UV protection to it. They are locked in there to the point that when these components, your plastics, your leathers, and your vinyl, when they expand and contract from hot and cold, they're going to hold on. as far as like, a dash guard product or anything like that, it's more of a conditioner or a sealant, they will break down, a lot quicker. But because these are grafted on there, you get a lot more staying power.
Yeah. And well, you can see right up here what that sun does to you. You don't want your interior looking like
It
that.
burns your hair right off.
Right. You don't want your interior looking like that. All right. So let's flip back over to the kind of the model of who is selling these at the dealership level, and just kind of
Mhm,
talk about that. They sell more paint and fab protection at probably in a small group of dealerships than we do as detailers across the entire country. And that's because they just bundle it together and offer it as a package. Now, our exterior products, we don't have an age restriction. I always tell guys, hey, if you have a 1932 Duesenberg and that paint looks fantastic, we'll put a warranty on it. Polish it, put some coating on there. But for the interior, because of the way it gets wear and tear and food spills and stuff, we only cover cars that are up to 3 years old. So this is really meant for a newer car, but that is
mhm.
exactly the customer who wants it. And if you look at it from a business side, you're not going to have to detail the inside of that car because it's going to be a newer car. You're going to vacuum it out, wipe it down, put your product in there. It shouldn't even really, this shouldn't be something that takes you an all day process. This is pretty much a 30-minute add on to your business. Um, so I really like to tell the guys, hey, if you know your hourly labor rate because you've figured all that out, you know how much you're going to put aside for taxes, you know how much you're going to put aside for profit, you've got enough to cover your business expenses and your payroll, and we'll just use nice even numbers. So say it's $100 for your labor rate. You don't necessarily have to mark this up to a full big price, because as long as you're hitting your hourly labor rate and you're building value that nobody else can touch, you're winning the game. You're
Mhm.
winning, and your customer is winning. And I think that, and don't get me wrong, if you have I mean, maybe I am incorrect about this, and maybe it should have a higher premium because of what great value that it does bring. But I think that by bundling these together, it should really lift anybody's business if they start selling these together. Again, because you don't have to go all the way in for the throat, and you're just adding so much value and making what you're giving to your customer so much better and untouchable by anybody else.
Right. And I mean, let's look at the direct comparison. You brought up the dealerships, right? Dealerships are definitely going to do this in a bundled deal, and working into their F&I. Now, the nice thing is this gives you an opportunity to compete against them. Anybody who buys a new car, they end up in an office and they get presented typically not options, more so strong recommendations. And with this, you have an opportunity when somebody calls you up and they have a new vehicle and they're looking to get it coded, you can ask them right away, because they've already been approached. You can ask them about, are you interested in the interior? And protect it. This is what we have to offer. And it's such a easy segue, into providing that service, um, that it's practically already been, the door's been open for you to walk in and to approach them on it. Now, again, it's more so the warranty is designed for a new vehicle. We have applied it without the warranty to older vehicles. We've had people who absolutely love their vehicle. They're not going to get rid of it. They plan on keeping it for a long time. Therefore, give them the option. Give them the option to go ahead and put the protectant down and use it as an opportunity for an upsell.
Yeah, I believe, and I could be mistaken, but I'm pretty darn sure that Dustin really focuses on this pretty hard, and he bundles his packages together and kind of gets
Mhm.
people in for the full Monty for whenever they come in. Like, he doesn't really offer just the partial. It's just he sees the value in it, and he sees the value that it helps him sell to his customers, and he makes it reasonable and realistic. And so what are we doing at Owner's Pride to help our installer network start to move more into this? Because we know that this is going to make them a more solid business. It's going to make them more profitable, and it's just going to, again, I think for me the biggest thing is it takes away, there is no competition. Nobody has in their pocket what you have to offer. And I know when we launched the company for the first year, we were really, really hyper focused on our warranty, and we've kind of backed off of it, and we've really, you know, shifted our focus to other places. But we're coming back to that warranty thing because more and more and more we see that the guys who are selling it and they're using that tool properly, it's really giving them a lift, and they're among our best installers that we have in our network. So seeing everybody else who's doing that, we just really feel we want to help everybody achieve that level.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, like we do at the Omaha shop, we actually have two tiers of that. We have a 7-year exterior and a 7-year interior, and that Davis has got it marked down as a Defender package. And then there's a Defender Plus, in which you can go ahead and get the 9-year self-healing coating put on, and then get a 7-year interior. And that's how we have those two-tier options. We don't throw in the 5 or the 3-year option when it comes to the interior, just keeping it very simple, for the consumer and as far as what they have for protection too. But by bundling that, we've created a bundle or a package that rivals the dealership. And normally, the majority of us are going to be a lot less than a dealership. And plus, the products that are going on are typically going to be a higher quality.
Yeah. So when we think about selling this, how are you guys in Omaha kind of alerting your customers to it? What is, I guess, how I want to start out.
Mhm. No, you'll see that we'll even make posts of it, and with the price of what the cost is. And then what I think too is when you look at that, present also if you're going to present the cost, present the savings. Let your customer know how much they're actually saving by choosing this bundle, because you want them to feel reassured about the decision that they're making for their vehicle because they've already spent a lot of money. So at least give them, that reassurance that this is what you're saving. This is why you're making that choice to go with us. And these are the products that we're using and why we use it. But normally we'll go ahead and advertise it. And then if we have somebody with a new vehicle that calls in, we make sure it's an option for them.
Mm. Well, I think it's really strong because we've all I th- I think a lot of things that we do when we're trying to market or advertise or sell stuff in our business, if we can look at it for things that we've gone through ourselves or people that we know have, so think of something that you spilled in your car or a time that you had a tear in your seat. And if you don't show that to people, they're probably not thinking about it because due to the way that we've marketed ceramic coatings pretty much as a whole, we take a hose
Mhm.
and shoot it on the side of a car. And if the water beads up, that's an amazing ceramic coating. And then we just kind of leave it at that. But I don't think that many of the guys out there are really focusing on the interior and showing like, "Hey, do you have you had a car that did this?" When I'm selling the outside ceramic coating, I generally would say, "Have you ever seen when a bird poops on a car and it etches into the paint and it's just that ring is stuck on there forever and you can't get it out?" Well, everybody's seen that. You know what? Everybody has also seen or spilled something inside the car themselves or had a car that had damage. So tell them what it is. You have to kind of shake the person and say, "Hey, this is something that
Mhm.
can happen." Because they're probably not thinking that in the first place. So our job when we're trying to sell something is to kind of hold their hand and highlight what can happen so they know why they're getting it.
Yeah. I mean, and what you're wanting to do too is not only just present the problem, but you're presenting the solution to it too. Just like with the bird poop, here's the reason why. This is why it happens. This is what is going to happen. This is why you're choosing this product. It's no different with the interior. It really isn't. Either way, you are selling something that is invisible. You know,
Yeah.
it's the only way you can see it is if it's protecting it, right? I mean, typically when it comes to if it was ceramic coatings, of course, we're going to naturally look at marketing and beading, right? And that's how we show a customer, even though we can get meeting in a lot of different ways. The same thing can be said with interiors. The only way that they're going to pretty much realize it is how much easier it is to clean. And I'm not saying go ahead and make something dirty for them or whatever. It doesn't hurt if you have an old floor mat to go ahead and just do half of it. Go ahead and coat half of it and show them, some water repellents, maybe some stain removal, these kind of things. It also, for me too, it's not just an opportunity to show them the product, but also even to show them how they can empower to clean it themselves and how easy it can be. So it's twofold. It's not just selling that, but you're also able to go ahead and sell a supporting line of chemicals that are going to help make their lives easier and keep their car cleaner.
Yeah. And then if we talk about the importance of that upfront pricing, this is something that you guys are really good about with your menu board that you have at your detail shop and owners in
Mhm.
Omaha. Um, this is where I believe you mentioned this earlier, but this is where you can really highlight the savings that somebody's going to get by getting this bundle. So if you show them that, hey, this is going to be $6.99 if it's a solo product standing on its own, but if you're already getting that exterior ceramic coating and we can do this for $3.99, well, all of a sudden you're saving $300. So it really does kind of highlight the savings and value that you're building in, along with all of the things that it covers and protects you against in the future, just in case anything goes sideways.
Right. And I think too, when you look at it, it's a lot easier for the customer to understand what it's going to cost. And I mean, I do understand people also breaking down their menu, small, medium, large vehicles. Whereas, like for us, it is a flat rate. Um, and with that, it also gives us the ability to say with that one rate, this is what you're also saving, you know. And Davis, when he put the menu board together, any of our bundled services also shows what you're saving. When we do a post online and we present the price of the service and the product, here's what you're saving. And I do think a lot of guys just miss out about it. Yeah, I see a lot of spring specials and everything else going out there too. Um, don't be afraid to let people know how much they're saving, so they realize what kind of deal that they are truly looking at and what they're saving.
Yeah. And as much as cars cost nowadays, people are kind of forced to keep their cars longer so they don't go upside down. Um,
Mhm.
so getting that long-term protection in there, it just makes sense. I mean, you can't have to be a special financial caliber to be getting a new car every couple of years, and and trading those in. Like they're expensive
And I
and
think
they
you
last
also brought up a
longer.
good point too. That we really haven't ever talked about. When you look at during COVID and how much more people were paying for new vehicles, you're correct. Getting out of that, like what we used to prior to COVID, I mean, changing every 3 years is no big deal. You look at it now, and that's changed quite a bit, as far as the market. So I think you're right. I think we will see people hold on to the vehicles. Maybe it could be a substantial amount of time, but I do believe that we're going to see them hold on to their vehicles longer than they typically would.
Yeah,
And they'll
out of
have to. Again, they'll have to because of the offset of the price.
absolutely out of necessity. There's You
Mhm.
just have no choice. So when you're putting this package together, let's think about that side. If you go into dealership world, wherever they are, they will have kind of a regional name that resonates with their client base. So I don't know why I always think about Colorado, but Colorado has like the Rocky Mountain Defender package, kind of like you guys have the
Mhm.
Defender package. So think of where you are, what's going to resonate with the customers in your local market, and make it tied to that. I believe I was talking to Robert Rupp now about this, him starting to offer this. And he said that he's in Tennessee, and he said there's a lot of like University of Tennessee. I believe it's the one that's orange and white, if whichever school that
Mhm.
is. And so he's like, he's gonna name it something to do with that because that is what everybody is there. If you're there, just like when we go to Nebraska, everybody's got one of those red and white shirts, sweatshirts on with the N on it. Or when I was in Indiana, everybody wore an IU or
Yeah.
Purdue, and So maybe it's that, maybe it's if you're like in Indianapolis, maybe it's something to do with racing or the Indy 500. But that's going to make it so your customers are comfortable with it just from the name. It's going to resonate with them, and it's an easier sale because it just makes them comfortable with the whole concept and the idea and the name.
And the more people are comfortable with it, the more accepting they are of the idea, right? And everybody likes to cheer the home team. This is it's great marketing, um, but I think also it makes you relatable to your clientele. And so if you're making yourself relatable, they're going to trust you more. They have more confidence in what you have to say and what you recommend as far as a service. Um, it's an opportunity. I hate using the word upsell all the time. I should just say it's an opportunity. I think what it is, it presents itself a unique opportunity.
Yeah. I like value builder. Turns it around and
Mhm.
makes it sound like you're doing something super duper nice. Upsell does sound like you're doing something nice for yourself. Value builder sounds like you're doing something nice for the other guy.
Something, yeah. And then, but you always see it though. It's like you go to a restaurant, right? There is a recommended pairing. Maybe it's a certain wine with a certain, entree, or this would pair well with this. Honestly, it's an upsell, right? But you're accepting because it's like, ooh, yeah, okay, they know what they're talking about. They've been around here a lot longer. They know this food. They've dealt with a lot of customers, and I think that's what you have to come off to be very genuine in that sense of here's a great pairing. This is what I would recommend. This is what our other clients have done. You can come approach it that way, so it doesn't seem so in your face, which I think a lot of people prefer that style of sales compared to the point blank, direct and blunt. But again, it also depends on what area you're in.
And I like to get this on the top of your offerings. So we're not only kind of putting it out there, but that should be the first thing you're offering because that is what brings the most value to your customer. So you put this bundle on the top. This is where you want your landing page, what you want them to see. Even if you run an ad and they're looking to get an exterior ceramic coating, you want to steer them as quickly as possible to this because you're building the most value.
Mhm. Yeah, no, I totally agree. When it comes to something like this, when you're looking at a bundled menu, you really do want to have your absolute top choice right there, and that's where you expect to see it. You know, you really do expect the top choice to be at the top.
And so, for all of our guys that are installers, this will soon, I believe, be an option on the website. I know Davis is feverishly working on putting everything
Mhm.
together and making sure so when we do publicly launch this thing for you guys or privately to our network of installers
Part
anyway, that it's all going to be ready to go and you'll be able to just order this bundle at a really nice savings for yourself to buy these products together.
Yeah, and the great thing is, again, you can buy it with or without the warranty itself. If the product is more value to your customer than the paper, then great, you have an opportunity, to go ahead and be a value builder um, with this option for them.
Absolutely. All right. So if you guys, whoever's out here watching, if you hit in the comments, if you're already selling this thing, um, if you have any ideas that we're kind of missing the boat on, then you can share them in there.
Mhm.
And we'll jump down there for our last little bit here and see what's going on. So we got greetings from Canada from Sir Paulo, the hardest working man in the show business.
Yes,
We got Kyle Kamas. Um, I had
they count.
Eric Carlson's coming out here for spring break with his family in a week or two, and I'm super excited to see him. Kyle is such a nice dude. When I was at the Rupes training a couple months ago, Eric Carlson gave us his Avalanche tickets, and Kyle and I went to an Avalanche game, and we had a blast. It was so fun, so fun. And he says wishes he was golfing. He's actually quite a golfer as well. And
Nice.
he gave me a marker that I take with me every time when I go golfing now. So you do something nice like that for somebody kind of out of the blue, and then you get to stick in their head all the time. Old Robert Rupp now gave me a dang cup with his business on it, one of those tumblers, and has my name on it. And so every like a couple times a week at least when I'm drinking my coffee in the morning out of this tumbler, he makes me think of him.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm sure
Sorry.
that makes them all warm and fuzzy.
Yeah. It does. It does. It makes me warm and fuzzy. It's somebody to think of you to do something. Okay. Happy birthday, Dan. That's me. Thank you very much, Paulo. Let's see. Paulo says, just like exterior clear coat, the interior leather coatings are getting thinner and thinner. Paulo would know as one of the
Yeah,
leather people. Today's world of interior protection is extremely important. Also, cleaning techniques that are less aggressive. Yeah, yeah,
and that's why, you hear us like really push a lot when it comes to eco wash because it's so pH neutral. It's so easy to use both on the inside and the outside. And Paul brings up a good point. There is a protectant that's already on there, but they are getting thinner and thinner and thinner. Just like clear coats today have become a lot, more thin than what they were just 5 years ago.
See, Todd Brown, Mr. Brown, the drummer man.
Mr. Don Brown.
Paula says we sell quite a few with great results. OEM finish for sure. We got our Puerto
Mhm.
Rican distributor who is kicking some butt. He,
Cameo.
Cadmia Lopez. Hi guys. I have the hiccups. Can I apply the interior coating after applying dash guard? I would probably not put anything on there. I do a nice wipe down with Eco Wash and then put that product in.
Yeah, you want to give it a good opportunity to bind directly on there and not have to go through anything, like say dash card. So I would strip that, before I'd apply it.
Similar to the paint, we want to make sure that we have a nice bare surface
Right,
substrate for it to stick
right.
onto.
As close to the substrate as possible.
And then there's Robert Rupp now. Speaking of Robert Rupp now, thank you. Let's see. Uh, Giovanni Castro, the man in Virginia, who do you know his shop is at I believe it was in a Sears building in a shopping mall. A lot of these malls are kind of converting now to be businesses. They're building condos and
Mhm.
apartments in them. So his detail shop is in not like the service center for the Sears building, but like if you went into the Sears where the shoes were and and clothes, it's in a section of a Sears store. So cool. It's a whole bunch of
It's
automotive
actually
things.
it's a really neat concept. The great thing too about it is there's typically tons of parking, and you never
Nice.
have to worry about not having enough parking for your customers. And you're always going to have, typically the garage doors in the back are pretty big and wide for stuff, coming in and out. So it's really a good setup. And I mean, I'm glad we're seeing more of it.
Yeah. And Giovanni, you have a really good since Damon just mentioned all that parking, you have a really great opportunity to do like a car show that you sponsor or something there. Um,
Yeah.
holy macaroni. Tons of parking.
Yeah, I mean, you have a lot of options. I mean, especially, I mean, think about how many open houses you can go ahead and have, or customer appreciation days. It's having that much space it's great. Great to be able to utilize and take advantage of.
Drew Carter. Hi guys. Been
Mr.
busy today.
Drucker,
That man is busy. Happy
always.
birthday to me, thank you. And then he got his first coating this month and have to do full detail and paint correction. And I hope after watching this, if you were watching it or have your headphones on, that you offered that interior also, because that's what this
Mhm.
day was all about. Ah, here he said, "Yes, sir. We're working on the cars and coffee coming soon." So I'm super excited
Cool.
about that. Um, and get with me, Giovanni. I will send you a trophy from. I go to car shows and I get my own trophies made. Like this right here, and it says the Details Podcast Best in Show. And so I pick out somebody myself or me and Angel, and we award them a trophy at the car shows because I go to a lot of car shows, and then I do a little interview with them. So I would love for you to fire that. I will send you a trophy for your car show.
It's actually a really cool idea. It becomes a very a great point of contact, and especially if you are in local business or whatever, to be able to do something like that. I mean, it's kind of cool. People they're appreciated when they feel special. They tell everybody about it.
And then speaking of car shows, we're kind of doing a dual hit here for Crafty Kate. And we should let's frame this so we could use this as a short that we can put out. But we're doing a dual thing with Crafty Kate for the Classic Burgers Ridgecrest Animal Shelter car show that she has coming up that she sponsors. Um, Owner's Pride has donated for their raffle and a prize, a nice wash kit with some eco wash, some dash guards, some tire shine, and some slick and a red sponge. So somebody is going to win a really great package to take care of their cars. And then I sponsored through the Details podcast one of the trophy for the best paint. So it's going to have my placard on the trophy, and it's a really really cool trophy that has like paint dripping all over it and a big old school paint gun. So really really cool. But that's in like Incopa or I if you look up Crafty Kate Classic Burger Car Show, you will see it. It looks like it's going to be a really good show, and all of the proceeds for it go to the animal shelter. It's a all for a nonprofit charity. And I like dogs, so I think helping out the puppies is a really really cool thing. And all of my lady influencers are going to be there. We're gonna have Nitro Alley will be there, Crafty Kate, Hot
Nice.
Rod Holly, and Kelly Full Throttle Anderson. Um, which is funny. They all have like a super fancy name, but they all have huge
Yeah.
followings in the car scene and in the race world. So super excited. I think I'm going to drive up. I'm going to make the trek 3 hours up there just so I can hang out for a little bit and get my picture taken with all of the famous ladies.
Nice. I mean, that'll be a good road trip too, and hopefully the weather's great. I mean, it's for such a good cause.
Yep, yep. So check that out. And how are we looking here? What's going on? Oh yeah, oh yeah. Let's see. Michael Spardu just came in here and he says, these are all smart ideas. I'm giving away my own spin on a wash bucket right now to all of my customers. I saw that. I saw your post,
Looks good.
Michael. It looks incredibly
They look
good.
good. Yeah. No, I mean he's doing a great job marketing his brand and himself. And yeah, whenever I see it, it's impressive.
Yeah. But if ever you don't make it in the world of detailing, I think you got a pretty strong foot in the door for making really great marketing material because I
Doing
think
great content.
that making that great material is going to pan out to be a really thriving business as you roll into it.
Mhm.
Giovanni says, asking you, Damon, when are you coming up to see him?
I do. I need to make a road trip. Right now, I can tell you next week I'll be in Orlando. I'm gonna go down there to OP Orlando, and we'll get some products we'll be, taking some video footage of, and some products we haven't come out with yet that we want to take some time to get some fun shoots done with it. Um, I need to get up that way. I definitely do, and I want to. And hopefully I can do it maybe this fall or something. I got a few weddings I gotta make it to this year. One being my son. So I have to make it
Oh,
back to the Midwest for that.
get out of here. I
Yeah,
didn't know that. He's
Logan. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, Logan's getting married this fall. Him and Ellen. So
congratulations. They've been together for like about 4 years now, huh?
man, it's been almost 5, or it has been 5.
Wow.
Trust me, if I'm wrong, I'll get corrected real quick later. There's no doubt about it.
How cool. How cool. It's actually been really neat to watch from afar as he's come into his own and grown up, and it just blows me away when you see people at a younger age and then they're getting married, and it's
He's
just
30. He's gonna be 30. That's the other thing. I mean, trust me, you want to feel old, you have kids. They'll remind you every day when you see them because they change. They as they grow older, you're growing. Yeah, it's the whole circle of life thing that's just absolutely depressing to hell.
but you can't be depressed about it, man, because none of us are getting out of here alive. It is what it is. It's all nature. and try to be good to people and enjoy
But
the time that you're here.
I want to get up there and see Giovanni. I really do. He's not the only one I need to get up there. And here's the great thing about being out here is having the opportunity to drive 3 or 4 hours and be somewhere completely different that I haven't been before, and or to a shop that I haven't been before. Being in Omaha, I go in 8 to 10 hours in any direction, and I pretty much have been everywhere, over and over again. And it's just it's a fun opportunity, especially to see them and watch their businesses grow out here and being a little bit closer.
Yeah. I need to do the same, get out of my home office. But I wake up and I get on the computer and I get on the telephone, and next thing you know, it's like 5 o'clock, and you're like, how the heck did that just
And here
happen?
we are.
But getting out there and, stopping into some shops and stores. If you guys, anybody out there who is interested in distribution, one of the pushes that we're making is for brick and mortar distributors. You can contact any of us on the team, Jimmy, myself, Damon, and we will get some information for you. And we would love to expand our footprint to to brick and mortar stores, so we just have more representation on the ground, easier for people to get products. We offer a lot of ideas for you, and tips and stuff to help with training for our products. We will give you all the knowledge that you need, and it's a great extra profit center for you that not a lot of people have taken yet, because it's just not been our focus up until this year when we're year number 5, and now it's time to make that happen.
Yeah, I mean, for us, the unique thing about that product line is in more than one shop, that is solely the product line that's used. So it has to work. It has to be tried and true. Otherwise, none of the shops are profitable, and you're not being efficient with your time. And so that's kind of the unique thing about it. The products were designed out of necessity and need. Um, and that's why we don't have, like 5 or 6 different car soaps or 4 or 5 different types of each type of product. These are the products that work well, and it's designed by detailers for detailers, and they need to work efficiently and they need to have a purpose. It'd be great to have multiple, versions of the same product, but like one smell like banana, one smell like cherry, so forth and so on. Um, but it really doesn't matter. What you really need is you need to make sure the product works. And I think that's a unique thing about that entire line. And being able to sell something that you have that much confidence in, it conveys to the customer themselves. And a happy customer is good for everybody.
And that's a really great point, and I don't know why I never really thought about it before, but you're right. A lot of the maybe the older, bigger legacy companies, they have like this product, a rinseless wash number 1 through
Mhm.
355, and there's like a piece for every one of them in there. We look at the products, and occasionally we'll say, "Hey, what can we do to make this better?" Or we'll sit down with our chemist and we'll say, "What can we do to make this better?" Even if we have a great product, and we'll pivot and by testing it out in our owner's pride shops in Omaha, Orlando, Canada, Alberta, Canada, and
Mhm.
Dustin out here in San Diego. We'll
Yeah.
take products and we'll test them and test them and test them, and we'll find something that everybody is like, this product is better. This is makes me happier. And then we'll make a shift, but we'll 86 the product that we're replacing because we're putting something better in front of you. But we want to keep it nice and tight. I it's and it keeps everything a lot more clear. There's a lot less fuzziness and like, oh, what do I need? Do I need the rinseless wash 37 or 52 or 96?
Right. I mean, when you look at ours is like a variance of degrees. Like let's just take the interior, right? If we were going to, clean the interior, our first line of defense, like in our shop, is Eco Wash. If that doesn't work, then we move to Spiffy. If Spiffy doesn't work, then we move to an all-purpose cleaner like OP Clean. And but each one of those has a distinct job to do, right? And again, we created them and we put the lineup together out of necessity, and a purpose for each and every one of those products. Again, I'm not knocking down any of the legacy companies that have, multiple variants or everything. That's great. but they weren't also at the same time opening detail shops. They were just they were producing and putting them out there for the masses. Whereas for us, it was a necessity of what we needed every day in our shop to make it efficient.
And that is the owner's pride difference. So, guys, when you're out there, when you're making your posts, if you use hashtag is or I want to see somewhere in there hashtag protect your ride with owner's pride. That might be long for a hashtag. It might need to be just one word. But if that's a really protect. I protect my ride with owner's pride.
It's a
Use
long
it.
one. It sounds good. It
It
sounds
does.
good, but it's a long one.
It does. Maybe have maybe a little fantasy of having your customer who you ceramic coat their car say that. Then we have a whole bunch of testimonials. I like that too. Just made one at the Corvette owners
It's
thing. But you know what?
a good one.
There we go. We have an hour in the books. I think I'm gonna get out of here. It's 2 o'clock here in San Diego Pacific time. Don't forget to change your clocks this Sunday.
This Sunday.
Another hour of light for all my mobile detailer guys out there. So I know that this is a really good time to start cranking it up, looking to sell those bundles and getting the word out there. If you guys want any help with ideas how to set this up or to talk about how to sell these bundles, absolutely give me or Jimmy or Damon, shoot us a text or message, or you can call me,
Mhm.
and I'd love to talk to you about it and help you sell those.
Absolutely. We're all about helping build value in their business.
Yep. And then I guess lastly, if you are interested in becoming an Owner's Pride authorized installer, go to ownerspride.com, click on become an installer. One of us will give you a call within hours. And if you are one of the consumers, one of the civilians out there, and you want the finest detailers in the world to take care of your prized possession, you go to ownerspride.com, click on find an installer. Our installer map pops up, and we have a great list of installers for you to choose from. All vetted, all professional.
Absolutely.
All right, man. I'm going to go be birthday man. So until next time,
Enjoy.
thanks, man. And stay glossy.